Hello everyone, welcome to Release 1 2025. The release notes are here on the homepage. When you log into Intacct, you can access the release notes from here. And as always, you're able to search by area at the top, along with by module as you scroll down. The first release we're going to go through is introducing supplier-based approval for AP invoices. This is a way to approve your AP invoices by supplier. So when you add the supplier-based approval to your AP purchase invoice policy, you have the option to assign the AP invoice approver by each supplier in the supplier record. Then when an AP invoice is submitted, Sage Intacct will route the AP purchase invoice to the assigned approver as per the supplier. To set up this approval policy, you go into AP and configuration. You want to scroll down to AP purchase invoice approval settings and enable AP purchase invoice approvals if you haven't got a policy already. When you go into approval policies, you can see here you've got supplier based approval. If you click save and then save again. Once you have enabled the configuration, if you go to AP and then suppliers, if you click edit, you'll be able to see in additional information, AP purchase invoice approver. And from here, you can select a user from the drop down. And just a reminder on here that you will need the permissions to be able to be listed as an approver. So these are found in the normal area within roles. And then in here, you just need to make sure that you have the relevant permissions in AP. When on the config screen in approval policies, it's just worth mentioning that if you have an AP invoice approval policy already, that includes multiple rules, for example, value approval, then supply-based approval, then the execution of the policy will go in the order as listed on here. If an AP invoice is submitted for a supplier that does not have an assigned approver, the AP invoice is automatically approved for that rule and Sage Intacct will proceed with the next level of approval. So if this was the other way around and then this was value, but in the supplier config you didn't have anybody allocated to that supplier, it would just go straight to value approval. The next item we're going to go through is purchase order approval delegation. So as before, you are still able to delegate your purchase order or your purchase policy approvals when out of the office, but now there are some enhancements with start and end dates. So to set up the delegation, if you go to purchasing configuration, so you will go to your approval policies here. So firstly, you need to ensure that you have got enable delegation selected. This will mean that you are able to manage your delegates from here. So as before, you are able to change to a user or a group of users. And now in your preferences, you will now see your purchasing approvals here that you can add a start and an end date, so you don't need to worry about necessarily turning these off once you return from leave. The next item we're going to go through is preventing direct posting to specific journals. So this means that you will be able to select within your journal types which journals you don't want to allow direct posting to the GL. So if you head into general ledger and then journals, and you've got your journal types here. So this is automatically set up, so there's no configuration to do. In here, you can disallow direct posting. So for some further information on disallow direct posting, so when you have set in the journal type to disallow direct posting, what this checkbox does is it means that users cannot go into the journals entry and select that journal type for the journal that they are entering. So this means that you can keep certain journals like your AP journals or your AR journals specifically through the subledger on the back of, for example, an invoice or a receipt. The next release we're going to go through is Bank Transaction Assist, which now allows draft payments. So if you go to cash management and then bank transactions. So this is the screen where all of your bank transactions are coming through. And in one of the previous releases, we went through how you're able to assign a line to a customer based on the description. And then if the same description is always coming through the bank reference, for example, then the system will automatically know which customer it's for based on the ruling that you've set. So for example, here we've got ref 997 in the description. So if we were to say that this reference here is always linked to Intacct customer 6, and we assign that ref 997 in here, and then click save. So now we've said that ref 997 description coming through from the bank is always relating to customer 6. If we now search by that ref 997, you can see that the other transactions which have come through with that description have also been now assigned to customer number 6. So just to show you that again, if we select the tick box here, assign to customer, and then if we assign the customer on here and then put the mapping value in there and then click save. If for whatever reason that reference number was going to change, if you select the line with the reference on, re-click assign to customer, and then in here you can unassign and remove, and then you can put in the new reference as required. So now in this latest release, you are able to now draft form that payment. So if you select the line, click receive payments, you can then say you want to match to an open amount, or you can say oldest first, largest first. Then in here you can create that as a draft payment and click post. So the last item on the release is more of an update and something to be aware of. Before May 2025, all customers who send emails using a custom domain from Intacct will need to authenticate and validate their domain. So there are various steps to go through to complete this process. So you can complete this anytime from now up until May, but if you don't do it before May, there will be issues sending out any correspondence from Intacct using a custom domain. So we will send a link with this recording along with after the user group, and it can also be accessed within release 1 in the release notes under company and admin, and it is the first topic in this section here. You will also be contacted by support as a reminder between now and the end of April. And if you have any issues whilst following these steps here, please reach out to our support desk. So that concludes the readout for Release 1 2025. So as always, in the release notes here, if you go by area United Kingdom, then you can see all of the other releases. And when you click on an area, on a topic, you will get all of the information, any configuration that you need to set up, along with any permissions that you need to update, and then details of the release. Thank you for listening today, and if you need anything, please do not hesitate to contact one of us at Percipient.